Hiya, this week we are going to be talking about Bearded Dragon care. This is the second attempt of me filming this video because I realised that I was rambling in the first one. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the video down into sections so that you can get the idea, and I'll put big signs up on the thing so you can actually see what's going on. So the first thing is, most importantly, is your setup. So we're going to talk vivariums. First of all, you need appropriate side vivarium, although much belief, bearded dragons are actually semi-arboreal, so I recommend, as a minimum, a 4x2x2. In size, that's what she's in. She has had bigger, but due to a back problem, which I'll link the video up in the top corner, I downgraded her so that she would have less opportunity to jump, because we're trying to refrain from her doing so much jumping under vet's recommendation. In this viv, I suggest that you have plenty of... Sorry, camera battery died. So, like I was saying, I recommend 2 hides. One at the cool end and one at the hot end, so they can choose where they want to be when they hide. She's got both. I also have a house that I prop in there when she goes into formation, so that she's completely covered and secluded away. Obviously, main things that you do need as well are heat bulb and UV. I use the Arcadia 12% Desert for my UV in the T5 bulb, and then she has a standard heat bulb situated on one side, set at 32 degrees. With babies, you can get away with slightly cooler because they have a smaller surface area to heat up than what an adult does. And again, she's got a ramp up and down. It's this side, sorry. She's got a little, you can't see it actually. She's got a ramp here. So she can choose where and how hot and how cool that she is under the heat bulb, so she can choose her basking temperature. Obviously she can come away free as well. Her UV currently is 3/4 of the way across. As in a previous video, which again I'll link up above, there is new research with the T5s about saying whether you need it across. Most now are recommending with the T5 bulbs, which is what I use, to put it across this way. You also need a Habistat to control the temperature. I have a digital Habistat. I will pop the link down for it below. I am in the process of upgrading, but this one controls both the heat and the UV bulb. I set it up to do both, and it simulates the sunset and sunrise. So when it comes on, it slowly builds up to the right temperature, and when it goes down, it obviously slowly dims like a sunset would. Dimming Habistats, they have to be a dimming Habistat, because what will happen is if it's constantly flashing off, it's not keeping an optimum air temperature, whereas if it dims down, it'll keep it to the same temperature all day, and you don't have to worry about the bearded dragon freaking out. I would also recommend having a cooler end sitting around 24 degrees so that they can choose whether how hot they want to be, how cool they want to be, and all this sort of stuff. Now for substrate, as much as they say don't do it for bearded dragons, there's no reason not to do it for bearded dragons. I highly recommend having a substrate a more naturalistic environment, because they're still technically a wild animal. Then, although we keep them as pets, the reptiles especially are more of a wild animal than you realise they are. So I recommend a 70-30 soil to sand mix for burrow digging. She's got the Arcadia Arids mix with some play sand in there. I do actually need to top it up. It wasn't quite as much as I needed it to be. So and I'll recommend 3 to 4 inches of soil. I mean, obviously the deeper you can go, the more burrowing. And then if you do have live custodians, I'm breeding crystal whites to put in there, having a moisture station for them so that they can go away and get moisture. I have that in the corner behind the aloe vera plant. I have some sphagnum moss in that corner so that they can escape into the coolness and rehydrate if they need to. Now, let's go on to feeding. Now, feeding is very different depending on the age of your bearded dragon. Anything under 6 months, they need to be fed 3 times a day with insects and every day with salad. They may or may not eat the salad. It's a bit hit and miss with babies, but I would still offer salad every day, because you can use it as a source of obviously topping up their vitamins and a source of water so that you know that they're getting some water from their food. Things that you can, I'm just going to list off a couple. Again, I have another video which I'll put up in the top about feeding different things. Personally, I use silkworms due to their anti-inflammatory properties. Let me just do that. Due to the anti-inflammatory properties, it will help her back. She is an anti-inflammatory medication, which obviously the silkworms are never going to supplement a man-made medication, but I figured natural would be better rather than a man-made. She also has locusts, calcium worms, and hoppers. I rotate between them, and then I'm also supplementing her with grub pie, which I make up for her and add it to the top, and bee powder, and then with a calcium dust. After 6 months old, I would go down, over 6 months old, I would go down to 2 feedings a day of the bugs, and obviously salad every day. 6 months to 9 months. 9 months I would go do 1 feeding of bugs a day, down obviously salad every day still, and 12 months and over I would do, so this is based on the reptile and their activity levels. If you're lucky enough like me and I've got a relatively active bearded dragon, she'll get fed 3 times a week. If she's having a quiet week, she'll obviously go down. We keep an eye on what's going on while we monitor her weight. So just play it by ear when they hit a year old. They generally are fully grown, so they obviously don't need those extra calories to grow. She sheds when she comes out of brumation, and then she doesn't shed again for the rest of the year. I do think that all reptiles do this when they're shedding. Now I recommend that you have a calcium dust and multivitamin. I use this, the Repashy Calcium Plus. This is the D3 version. I do need to pick up the low D3 version because you can actually overdose your animal on D3. So I have the high D3 version. I just need to get the low D3 version. Or you can get them separate. So I would get a calcium powder, a multivitamin, and then a calcium plus D3. The calcium I would do every day, especially while they're babies, because obviously they go quickly. The multivitamin I would do as a minimum of every other day, and then the calcium with the D3 I would do once a week, because like I said, they can overdose on D3 due to the fact that they do get it from the UV bulb. That is the sole purpose of the UV bulb. The only thing I will say with the UV is to make sure that you check how often you have to change it, because although the UV bulb is on, doesn't necessarily mean it's giving off UV, and MBD is a very, very painful way for a lizard to go. Right, now that you've got your vivarium, your substrate, and everything else, the only thing I will add is going to go and pick your bearded dragon up. Obviously making sure that you buy from a reputable breeder, making sure that they're healthy and everything else. It can take them up to 2 weeks for them to settle in, so don't worry if your lizard doesn't eat straight away. Give it 2 weeks. Maybe get a vet check in those 2 weeks. I did with my Chinese water dragon. Obviously I was more educated with him than I was with her when I picked her up. And please don't forget, as much as pet shops sell them as beginner reptiles, they really aren't. Bearded dragons take a lot more attention and care than you realise, and yes, they are they're easier than some of the other species that you can get. Like Aragon is a lot more hard work with his humidity and everything. They aren't actually as beginner friendly as you think they are. I am going to leave this video here. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and forget to give my videos a like and a comment if you have anything else to say. Subscribe to my channel for weekly uploads, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!